I want to talk today about learning how to know when someone's time in your life and that space that they have occupied has expired. I think it's important to consider expiration dates on everything and everybody. And just as it's important for us to check expiration dates before we consume anything, welcome to the video. Welcome to the Bajo channel. This is the Bajo station, if you will, where we are here to encourage you to just take care of yourself. It's the home of self-care and wellness and beauty and any and everything to help you to become the best and most powerful version of yourself. And I thank you so much today for joining us today. Today I want to talk about spring cleaning. And not necessarily, it relates so much to how we spring clean our homes, but I'm talking about having to clean spaces in your life. I want to talk today about learning how to know when someone's time in your life and that space that they have occupied has expired. I think it's important to consider expiration dates on everything and everybody. And just as it's important for us to check expiration dates before we consume anything, because if we don't, we know that we'll get sick, right? That was one of the fundamental things, as a kid. My mother always told me, look at the expiration date on milk or, on different canned goods or whatever it was, to ensure that it was going to be healthy or fresh and it wouldn't hurt me. Because sometimes what will happen is if you eat things that are expired, bacteria and certain harmful chemicals will form in whatever it is, and it'll hurt you. And so I wanted to take that same idea and line it up next to people that we have in our lives, because your space is sacred. Right? And sometimes people are in our life simply because they just been there. You know what I mean? We grew up a certain neighborhood or just having certain people around you. And as an adult, those people are just there. They're like permanent fixtures. But I am here to say and say boldly that no one should be a permanent fixture in your life without being vetted. Because as you grow, you are not the same person that you were when you were a child or a teenager or a young adult. We evolve and we change. The direction of our life change. And quite frankly, everybody cannot go with you. They cannot travel with you. A lot of people are not even mature enough to come with you, wherever your destiny may take you. But I believe that this is a very important conversation, because what happens is, it's similar to like, I'll say this. It's similar, right, to when you have certain automatic payments in your life. Things just come out automatically. Like you have things set up automatically so you don't have to be bothered. So it comes out without thought, right? But over a certain period of time, you have to step back and look at what's coming out to even see if you still need that. Some things would just be coming out of your account for years and years, and you no longer even use that service or have a use for it. So in the same way, you have to stop and vet things like, what happened? Why is this person here? How are we aligned with one another? How are we improving one another? Because I do believe that in any relationship, there should be reciprocity. Not just you looking for someone to build you, but you have to deposit also in that person's life. It's called balance. It's the law of balance. You can't be the taker. That person can't just be the taker. It has to be a yin and a yang, right? To keep the balance. Otherwise, it loses its rhythm. It loses its purpose. And you become frustrated. And that person becomes frustrated. And the whole relationship is just a mess. But I wanted to just quickly go through about 6 ways that you will know, and you can start to kind of identify reasons and things and people why, like an identifying tool or just things to look at to see if this relationship or the space that this person has been occupying has come to its end. And the expiration date is here. One thing that you want to look at is if you're the only person that's making deposits in that relationship, you're the only person that's pouring into that person. That's not a relationship. That is, you are the server. That's not a relationship. You are, when one person is pouring in and the other person can't, that's servitude. And if you're in a service industry, you know what I mean? Like if you're a nurse or you're a doctor or you have some type of service industry, that's your job. You're supposed to serve that person. But when you come to a relationship, it is not like that. It's supposed to be back and forth. I serve you, you serve me, we serve each other, we help each other. And if you only see that you're the person that's doing all of the serving, that's a sign that maybe this relationship, I don't know. You need to really look at it twice, 3, 4, 5 times. The next thing is when you always feel drained and exhausted when you leave this person's presence. Like every time you're around this person, it's not invigorating. It doesn't make you feel inspired. It actually makes you feel drained and exhausted every single time, whether they're pouring their problems on you or maybe it's just the energy that they have that's pulling you back or pulling you down or making you feel lower than you were before you came into their presence. That is something to take into consideration majorly. Another thing, that's number 3. When you can no longer have a conversation that's meaningful. When all of your conversations, it lack depth. You got these surface conversations that mean nothing, that's going to take you nowhere, that's doing nothing for you. Always, you cannot go, that conversation has to stay on the above the surface, not even on the surface, but above the surface. It's like y'all visions no longer align. You have to look at that. When you had this symbiotic relationship, you're supposed to be able to speak on different topics, different levels. And even if you can't speak on different topics with everybody, certain topics you should be able to go into depth and not have to tiptoe around certain things because it's going above this person's head. They're not there. They're not connected. You have to look at it. Have their space and their time in your life expired. Number 4, your paths no longer align. You guys are on 2 different paths. And at no point are you guys intersecting and meeting anywhere. You gone. Y'all have no vision together. Y'all not even remotely aligned, not even running parallel anymore. They're here, you're there. It's nothing. Even when people have two different paths in lives, at least their values align, their purposes align. It's some type of intersection at some point, even if it's on a spiritual level, even if it's on a financial level. It's something, somewhere their lives intersect. When you running and somebody have up close and personal space in your life, and you guys are like night and day, like no connectivity in your life at all, that is a sign to that maybe that person or maybe that relationship has run its course. Number 5 is when you are realizing that that person is making no progress in their life. Like they're stuck. And despite all of your attempts to help over the time, and they stuck. They're stuck. And you've played doctor, you played confidant, you did all of that, but it's like they stuck. And sometimes you have to, cut your losses, refer them to somewhere maybe they can get some professional help. But sometimes when you stay too long trying to dig somebody out of a hole that they continue to dig themselves in, what's going to happen is you're going to go in a hole with them. And then you ain't going to be able to get out yourself. So it's like you have to see like what's happening. Why is this person always stuck in the same situation? Right? And last but not least, when you have to start to look and see if that people's space and they occupy in a certain space in your life that may have expired, when you begin to sense a sense of envy and jealousy, like when you are making progress and you are doing things in your life, it's like you feel this envy and jealousy, like they're not supportive. They're not really, you can feel it. You can feel when someone is kind of separated from your achievements. Not that you need a cheerleading group, because me personally, I don't necessarily need a cheerleading group because I'm my own cheerleader. I really am. Like, I look at myself, I see where I am, I see where I want to go, and I celebrate by myself. And I'm grateful and I'm blessed that I do have friends in my life that genuinely are happy for me. And when something happens in their life, that's a milestone or that's just an achievement, I celebrate with them and I'm genuinely happy. But when you notice that you have people up close and personal and they kind of got this attitude or this distant, like just standoffish, you celebrate and you happy. And I don't mean celebratory like a party. I'm saying like you're celebrating like within yourself. You're happy. You're feeling confident. They very lackluster. You know what I mean? Like just, it's good. That's, and it's continually like that. Sometimes we have people that's too close on us and they don't need to be that close. Seriously. And I am even going to go out on a limb and say, oftentimes that is dangerous to have somebody that close in your space, in your personal space, in your sacred space, right? And they are not genuinely in your corner. That is very dangerous on so many levels that I'm not even going to get into on this conversation. But just know that your space, your space is sacred. And a lot of times people's time in certain spaces in your life have expired and they have to go straight like that. No disrespect. And I say this, it's many, many, many times in my life, younger, just older, I've had to make some decisions. And I'm a fade to black kind of girl. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like no smoke. I don't like none of that. It's just I realize certain things have to happen, and that's it. And I'm a fade to black. That's it for me. Once I'm done, and I disconnect from within. Once I start seeing it, because for me, I have had, and this is especially when I was younger, I've had people in my life so long. I mean, they exhausted that time. I mean, well over the time that they should have occupied any kind of space in my life. But yet I kept it going because I wasn't, aware enough. I wasn't self-aware, first of all, and I wasn't aware of my surroundings enough to make immediate changes and make immediate decisions that was going to benefit me. So yeah, sometimes you have to know when a person's time in your life has expired. It's over. It's over. And over does not, and I want to just reiterate this, over does not always mean I have to blow up the situation. There got to be smoke everywhere and the disrespect comes, and no. Sometimes it's just, it's over. It's sort of kind of like a good meal, right? You eat and you enjoying it. Your toes is curling underneath the table and you done. After you finish, you finish. I've had enough. And you politely back away. That is all. So I thank you so much for listening. This is such powerful self-care conversations, because it's hard to care for yourself when you have people in proximity, in too close proximity of you, that your focus now is not even on yourself, but now you have to nurture them all the time. In my friendships, I feel like in friendships, we're going to nurture each other. I'm going to be down at times, and my friends nurture me and they encourage me and they pull me up. And when I see my friends down, I'm there for them. I'm pulling them up. I'm nurturing them. I want to. That's what we do for each other. But it cannot be one-sided. No way. No way. No ham, no ma'am. So I'm grateful for this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you. This is Bajo Channel, the home of self-care, wellness, and beauty, and in everything that will help you to become the better, most powerful, most encouraging version of yourself. I thank you so much for joining us today. And remember that self-care is definitely the best care. Later.